Holly Rowley,
No, it's mainly
joined by
second.
Angus Harper, Taylor Heineke, Eric Lewis, Ronnie Cameron, and Craig Wilkins, and we'll open up the questions to student athletes.
Well, there seem to be two sides to this game. First side, when you stop Grimes. You guys, that's the problem. What was the story there?
Like I said, they don't get it was like one of the games, a good team. Like their record doesn't speak to how good of a team they actually really are. Their offensive line, the tight ends, and the backs are all really good players. That's why I was actually asking them after the game, like, what happened this season? Because the way they came out and played, like that, I feel like that was one of the better offensive lines. And that was definitely the best back in the league we just faced. And we understood that they were going to get their carries, and that he was going to get his carries, and that he was going to get his yards. But at the end of the day, it was discouraging to a certain extent, but you got to keep playing every play. Coach Waddle was just play the next play, and think fast, play fast. That's what we just kept doing. You got to just keep trying to do it. And we understood they would have the level of success, but you got to play for 60 minutes.
And on that last drive, he forced them into third and 8 pass. So, mission accomplished there.
What did they say when you talked to a couple of them and said, man, what happened to you guys this year?
I can tell they were frustrated. You know what I mean? I was surprised how big the season last week. They had a big season. I had a lot of aspirations for the season. And I guess things just didn't, fall the right way. I know they had a bunch of quarterback changes this season, and that's hard to do, especially in this league, which you got a quarterback in the league. And they were more so frustrated. But like I said, one day they're a hell of a team. Hell of a offensive line and a hell of a team overall. So I give more respect to the world. We have to after what they accomplished against us in terms of the run.
Craig, how hard is it to break down Grimes once he gets past the line of scrimmage?
He's a great back. He does the basics to keep his feet moving. He's a pretty strong guy. He's kind of short, so he's kind of low to the ground, which helps. It was pretty hard to tackle.
When does the frustration factor kick in when you're playing against him?
You really can't allow him to kick in because watching film, we knew he was going to break tackles. I mean, one arm tackle can't break him down. We knew we was going to have the gang tackle to break him down. He's just not a one-person tackle guy.
Were they better offensively today than you guys had seen or thought?
I think definitely they said they committed to the run. They definitely did well against it. Played against in terms of running the ball, but I feel like they game plan for a strong commitment to the run and the play action pass, which kind of hit us up a little bit from here and there because they felt like we were just so committed to the run, and then that was going to make it go with the play action.
How hard is it to maintain the run and play action, and the play action is to runs?
It's tough. It's tough. Like I said, he's a complete back, and this offense goes through him, and they made it very clear. And like I said, if anything, we just had to stay on our assignments and just keep playing. That's the biggest thing that we just had to keep doing was being relentless and just keep playing. Regardless if they had a 20-yard game or we had a 5-yard tackle or loss, we got to keep playing the next play because, like I said, at the end of the day, this was a 60-minute battle. And thank God we came on the winning end of it.
Hey, Eric, Cabrio had been awfully effective for basically the entire game, but would you just talk about your 2 picks and just kind of those plays, what you saw, and just how patient you kind of had to be?
I wouldn't really say it was patient. It was more just, preparation in the film room and knowing what they like to do in certain situations. We knew they were a big smash team. That's one do the shoot at the 7. That's all they really like to run. So when that being said, they allow you to play a lot faster and a lot more confident. So that's how the first interception.
On your first interception, you played the zone. Okay, so what had to take us through that first one?
Like I said, I knew it was coming. I felt it was coming. I think it was 3rd down or something like that. I knew they had to get the stick. They had to get to the sticks. So I knew a smash route was coming. I just played it right. Threw it right to it.
And what about the second pick?
Second pick, I knew they had to score. They had to go deep. We were up by 4, so they had to get a touchdown. I knew they were trying to go deep. I know Carvin, that's my right-hand man, so I knew he had my back. So I knew if I take a chance, he's going to be right there behind me regardless. So I played my zone, he played his zone, and ended up with the interception.
You had missed a bunch of time lately. How healthy are you today?
I'm healthy. I played today, so I'm out.
Ronnie, how did you feel about the penalties called against you today? They seem to have your number.
Yeah, I mean, it was a situation like, you know, I was never playing aggressive. Like, I knew I had to come out and play aggressive. And there was situations where they were calling out their offensive line and their quarterback was calling out where I was. So I knew they were, you know, to a certain extent, they were game planning for the things I was trying to do. And, you know, like I said, of course, you're just playing aggressive, trying to make plays. And, you know, certain things end up happening when, you know, it was two situations where they called hands to the face. And it's more so when you're playing aggressive, sometimes your hand slips and gets in the guy's face. And that was a situation. But I feel like that slowed it down. You can't let situations like that slow it down, especially at a crucial point in the game. I was really pissed at the time, but I knew we still got to stop it. You know, it was crucial. It was a bad penalty for us to get up at this point in time. But I knew we still had to finish up. And I'm glad we was able to get pressure on him. And I was glad, you know, Eric Lewis was able to finish up with the pick. You know, that sealed the game for us. So it's all about, like I said, just playing the next play and not letting those bad calls get you down.
Greg, at what point did you think, okay, Eric's back on the practice field and he's starting to look like he can play? And what were you thinking about the fact of getting him back?
I was very excited to get Eric back. Eric's locking down corner. I know Eric breaks the ball well, and he comes up to stop the run, which is very great. That's what you want out of the corner. You can stop the run and cover the man. So we got Eric back. I knew that was going to be vital to our defense. It allows us to do more things. You know, some man coverage to him because he can lock down on things like that.
Taylor, did you have to just settle for what they gave you today? Because it looked like they were rushing three, blitzing a linebacker, and dropping way back.
Definitely. On film, we just see him dropping forward and not going to get beat deep. So we just typically give us kind of like last week, just find our hitches, you know, in the shallows. Anything they gave us, we're going to take, just keep dropping it.
Would you talk a little bit about the game plan from the first to the second half? Because I think you attempted 29 passes in the first half and only 10, and you kind of went a little more to the run in the second half with Angus. Talk a little bit about that.
The first half, we felt like we could throw the ball against them, you know, chip it up, we could do whatever they gave us. And there's some situations where we could have ran the ball and got first downs instead of throwing the ball. And in the second half, we felt like we could run the ball very well against them, do options against them. And that's what we did, and we just ran down the throat.
Did you call an audible on the option pitch out?
Yes, I did. We saw a look on film that they brought the two backwards on the outside, and we audible to an option play, and they showed it. Coach Scott told me if I didn't audible, he was going to call timeout. So audible, and things had a good run, touchdown.
How many options have you called since you've been quarterback here?
How many audibles?
I'm sorry, audibles.
Well, I don't know how many. Maybe like 10, 15. It depends on what the game is and what the coaches
Was that an option or were you pitching all the way?
It was pretty much a pitch all the way, unless he went straight to the against him.
And you had a great second half. Is this your best game, most satisfying game this year?
Yes, I felt good. Line, it all started with the line. And Coach said earlier, you got to win the battle up front. The line, you got to be relentless. They were relentless. I was relentless. Us as an offense was relentless, and that's how I got this touchdown. Offensive line. It started with the line.
What happened on the last touchdown? Did Trandon try to get outside of you, or what did you see?
I mean, it was just one of those things that we strive in practice, keeping your legs moving. So, I mean, I seen him, the angle that he was taking, I knew I could come back inside. He had his hands actually like under my pads, but I was like, I got to get in. So, having a relentless mindset, got in.
Any other questions?
I have a couple of questions for all you guys, and you all can jump in here. 9-2. I know you're going to say you can do this all along, but did you really think you did this?
Like I said, coming out of spring, going to summer, we had a lot of confidence in this team. I know we had something special, you know, with the athletes that we had, you know, one of the receivers in the secondary, and we had a lot of, you know, we had older guys, juniors and seniors, in the front seven. Just like I felt like we just knew we were going to do well this year. We maybe, like I said, I knew they couldn't say a record, but we knew we were going to do well.
I guess as young as our program is, we still quote unquote have experience because we had a lot of people return. Defensively, we only lost Mayo, so we knew. I mean, you work hard all summer and spring to play the season. I mean, everybody wants to be 11-0. No one trains hard to be last place. So I mean, we're used to success, and we're not surprised where we're at right now as a program.
expect from the CAA. I've never watched a game. So I've been watching SoCon from when I was little, growing up. So I didn't know what to expect from the CAA. I heard it was the SEC with one AA. So I didn't know what to expect from my team. But no, during practice we had a bunch of athletes, we had a bunch of playmakers. So I knew we could compete, but I just didn't know how well we could do.
When you say you knew it was the SEC and 1AA, you certainly grew up watching the SEC. So what did you think that translated to?
Just, watching the SEC, anyone can win a division, anyone can win a conference. So coming to this conference, which will represent the same thing. Every game's a hard game. Every team's going to give it the best shot and make it close. So that can kind of relate to that.
Any other questions?
Very excited with this win and just incredibly proud of this entire, what I'll call a football family right now. Talk about the team, the players, the 12 Monarchs today were just incredible. I mean, I was just so inspired by our fans today. Really proud of everybody involved. I can't thank Old Dominion enough for what they've allowed us to build. They've allowed us to build the most successful startup program in the history of the FCS, the youngest program ever to be a postseason football team, and it's certainly not a one-man show. It's an organization from President Broderick to Dr. Seelig to the guys like Sonny Stallings and everybody that was behind this that started, and I'm just incredibly grateful to all of them. I feel very strongly right now at 9-2 and 6-2. There's no question that we're in the playoffs. I look back when this thing started in early September, and the word that pops into my mouth right now as I sit here on November 12th is, wow, what a run by this football team. And I believe we're one of the top 12 teams in the country. I believe we deserve a bye. I think our body of work is very strong. At 9-2, 6-2, with 2 top 20 wins. Our only 2 losses are games that were decided in the fourth quarter. A loss to Delaware, who played for the national championship last year, and a heartbreaking loss at home to Towson. This football team's about 3 or 4 plays away from potentially being 11-0 and ranked 1 or 2 in the country. So our body of work, I believe, is very strong, and we have made history with this football program. I think this is a great story nationally with what's been accomplished by Old Dominion University in this football program. I believe we've built this program the right way. I think our future is very bright with 87 of our 95 players on our roster that are going to be returning players. So I do not feel this is a one-hit wonder. My expectation is that we're going to continue to grow and develop as a program. And I feel very strongly about this last statement I'll make here, and I'll take questions. We didn't just knock the door. We didn't just knock on the door to the playoffs. As I told the team in the locker room, we just kicked the door down. And I'm very, very proud of that. This is a team that wanted very badly, number one, to win the CAA championship. And I don't know all the details of today, but a lot of things still need to be determined. We still have a shot at that. But there's no question we're a playoff team, and I feel we deserve a first-round bye. And I feel we deserve to be at home on December 3rd. And I'm hopeful that the committee is agreeable with Old Dominion's wishes. And I'll take questions.
You're not holding back anything. You're like campaign manager right here. It sounds like. All in.
I'm proud of my football team, guys. I'm very proud of this. What's been done was, I don't know if a lot of people expected what this team did this year, and I'm very proud of them. And keep in mind also, guys, we've been going for 15 weeks straight. We haven't had a chance to catch our breath. We've had as many as 5 starters on defense out, and those kids just will not give up. They just compete nonstop. And I'm proud of these kids, and I'm going to do everything in my power. And I know President Broderick and Dr. Seelig are going to do everything in their power to put us in the best position to compete for a national championship. And that is now the goal. It's not to enter the playoffs and make a nice impression on anybody. The goal is to compete for and win a national championship, because we're now in this tournament. And I'm very strong in my thought on deserving a first round bye, which means that it would take 4 games to win the national championship, or if you're one of those first 8, you've got to win 5 games. And I don't want people nationally to look at us and say this is just a team that's okay, or that was playing in a league that was down this year. No, that's not true. This is a good football team that deserves a first round bye, and we're going to attack this in the manner now that we're done. We're done with the CAA this year. This is all about now competing nationally with the goal of winning the national championship.
What about the notion that, as you talk about the first part of the year, just playing an 11-week grind, not having a bye?
Right.
Now, if it plays out the way it appears it would, you'll have 2 weeks off before you have to play again. Good, bad, value of that?
Yeah, my hope is we'll have 3 weeks from today.
3 weeks.
That's my hope. I hope we do not play 3 weeks from today. I've planned for this, Dave. I already have a plan in place, exactly what we're going to do every single day for the next 3 weeks. Right now, guys, we will not be on the football field again doing anything football related for 5 days. Those kids won't be on the field again until Thursday. Now it is all about focusing on healing their bodies, focusing on what they need to do academically, and just getting ourselves back. We are a tired football team right now. We're a team that's hurting. And you guys saw it. You're watching. This kid's running off the field today. J.J. Williams was on and off 4 times, and the kid just wouldn't quit. But they're hurt. The kids are hurt right now. We needed a bye this year. We didn't get it. So our plan, guys, we'll be off for 5 days. We'll come back. We'll practice next Thursday and Friday. We'll have the selection show next Sunday, which is an event that our school is going to promote and put out there next Sunday. We'll do that as a team, and I'm hopeful then that we end up not playing until December 3rd, because I'd love to send these kids home for 3 or 4 days for Thanksgiving. They're deserving of it.
You're the new kid on the block. I mean, never more conspicuously than when you're playing today in this old stadium. The program's been around forever. There's nothing, I know you're not patient, but
Right.
as a new kid on the block, you think you're maybe ruffling feathers and just it's happening too quick as far as other people are concerned, not as far as you.
I really don't know, Bob. I don't know how to answer your question, because then I'd have to speak for the other coaches. I do know that the CAA coaches voted us to finish 10th in the league this year. I voted us to finish 11th. And as I said, the reason I did that was out of respect for the league. I was hopeful we weren't going to finish 11th, but that's how I voted, for my respect for this league. And remember, I've played and coached in this league for 24 years now. This has been my it's been my football career, other than 2 years at Boston College. And I have tremendous respect for these coaches, these teams. I can say confidently that I feel like some teams that we've beaten this year have been surprised that we've beaten them. I don't think they expected to lose to Old Dominion. And I don't know if I would either, Bob, if I was in their shoes. I don't know if I would expect to lose to a program in their 3rd year. But bottom line is we're a good football team, a very good football team. And I'm really hopeful, even though it's out of our hands, Bob, which I'm disappointed about. I'm disappointed it's out of our hands, that we don't have a say in how the CAA championship is going to play out. We need help from other people, and quite honestly, I don't like being in this position. I'm disappointed that we're in this position, and I can look back now, because the season's over. I can look back at Towson and say, what a disappointment. If there's a disappointment in this year, it's how that game ended, because we would be 7-1, 10-1. I think we'd be a top 5 team in the nation, and we would already be in the clubhouse as at least a co-champion. But lesson learned.
Did you say earlier you're 3 or 4 plays away from being potentially undefeated at number
1 or 2, because North Dakota State's undefeated right now. Yes, I could say that.
A lot of macro stuff. Talk a little bit of micro stuff about just today.
Sure.
And just impressions of how you guys played, some of the things you all overcame in terms of penalties and William & Mary's effort today.
Yeah, this game, in my opinion, came down to turnovers. That was the bottom line. Both offenses had 500 yards. Neither defense could get a handle on either offense. It was going to be decided at the end by turnovers and then somebody making an uncommon play. And there were really three uncommon plays. 2 of them made by Eric Lewis and 1 made by Angus Harper. Those are uncommon plays. What Angus Harper did on that third, whatever it was, third 1 from the 5, to break that tackle, he was down. You know, I was in my head, I was already thinking we're going to have to kick the field goal here and tie it at 31. And for him to break that tackle and score was uncommon. And then Eric Lewis, I don't even know what to say about that kid right now. You know, he was out for 3 weeks. His ankle bothered him today. You might have noticed he came off the field. Twice he had to be retaped. He had to get his ankle retaped. He was in pain. I think that kid is, I think he's an all-conference corner. You know, maybe he hasn't played enough games or doesn't have the numbers, but I think he's an all-conference corner. And I think he's deserving with those plays because those are uncommon plays. That's not a pick on a Hail Mary. Those are 2 interceptions to win a football game.
What happened?
He was in up in support, and we were in a 2-deep shell. He was the corner. Okay, so there was a receiver running behind him that the safety was looking at, and Eric was up on the underneath receiver, and his job was to take care of the underneath receiver, but he saw where the quarterback was looking, and he dropped back into that zone and made 2 uncommon plays.
The 4th and 29 for Towson was hard to take for your team, but did it help you today at the very end of this game?
I believe it did. I believe the adversity that we had early in the season defined our character. I have a phrase that I use with our players all the time, that adversity defines your character. Anyone can do well when things are going well, but how do you react? And in football, this is obviously not something I would say to anybody in the public, but in football, how do you react when someone punches you in the face? And we've now, Rich, we played in 8 football games that have been decided in the 4th quarter and been decided at the end of the ball game. I'm going back to Hampton, and then 7 of our 8 CAA games, other than Villanova, have been decided at the end of the game, and we're 6-2 in games that are decided at the end of the football game. And I think somebody would look at that on a selection committee or outside our league and might not appreciate it as much as the head football coach of a startup program does. To win 75% of our games that are decided late for a team that's still learning how to play. And I'll say this also, man, we have not played our best game yet. We're still learning how to play football. There are still times right now when we're trying to figure things out. And we're doing it, and we're winning football games. And you look at us now at 26-7. In 3 years. You know, in the first couple of years, a lot of folks said, well, your competition wasn't that good, but yeah, neither were we. And we were trying to learn how to play football. Well, now the competition is good. And I think this clearly says to everybody in the country that Old Dominion is a good football team, and they deserve to be where they are.
Finally, Rich, you guys are going down and being taken off on the backboard. Did you know they were okay, and also how did that affect your club moving forward from there?
I did know they were okay. I always go to our doctor because our doctor will confer with their doctor, and what he was told was that they were being very precautionary.
How did that affect the game when the kids on the field as you kind of recap of how the 1 and 2 so put together.
I didn't sense an effect from our players. I didn't from theirs either. I thought both teams just kept their own plan.
A vote or two about William & Mary's offense today and why you guys had such a difficult time getting a handle on that.
Yeah, the number one thing we did not do well today, Dave, is we did not tackle well. And our number one goal coming into this game was to get multiple players to Jonathan Grimes and to tackle him. And we did not do that. And I'm never going to make an excuse. The players that are on the field need to tackle when they're on the field. And I just say we need some time off. We need to get healed up and healthy. But I said this last week, Jonathan Grimes is my favorite football player that I've ever coached against since I've been in college, whether Boston College, Maine, or here. I really respect the way he plays the game of football. He plays it the right way. He runs, he blocks, he catches, he gets up and hands the ball. He officially doesn't say a word. And I think he's one of the best players in the country.
Any more questions
Is he
for
player of the year?
I'm sorry?
Is he player of the year in the CAA?
No, I believe Taylor Heineke is player of the year in the CAA. I think he's the best football player in this league. And I think right now, Rich, I think he's also the most valuable player in this league. We're a good football team, but when DeMarco goes down at halftime of the Massachusetts game, if he does not come in and play at the level he plays, we could be a 6-5 football team right now. And we're not. We're 9-2 because of him. And if he's not the CAA Rookie of the Year, because a lot of folks will look at Terrence West and will say Terrence West is having a great year, but I would argue Taylor Heineke's a quarterback. And everything we do goes through Taylor Heineke. Towson's got a very good offense. They've got a good quarterback in Grant Enders. And the only reason I mentioned Terrence West is I think it's a two-horse race. All due respect to everybody else. But I think Taylor Heineke, he's not the offensive player this year. I think he's the Rookie of the Year. And I think he's deserving of national recognition with what he's done this year. His numbers, guys, are staggering. That's staggering to me, what he's done as a true freshman, particularly with the situation, man, of the fact that he ran a scout team in August and September. For 2 months, he's a scout team quarterback. He's not even working with our first offense. He's going against Ronnie Cameron and the defensive guys, running the other team's offense. And then here it is, halftime of the Massachusetts game. I go up to him and say, you know, DeMarco's out, he's hurt, you're going in. And then his response is, let's go, coach. And for him to do what he's done, Rich, I don't see anybody else in the country who has done what this kid has done this year. He's put us right on his back and led us into what I believe is a second-round home playoff game.
Any other questions for Coach? Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys.
Appreciate the time.